Real-time bidding, demand-side platforms, supply-side platforms, retargeting. Are these buzzwords confusing anyone? You're probably not the only ones. But it's, what I'd like to show you is it's not that scary. Actually, it's just all about targeting. And that can be a real good thing for all of us. Who knows this man?
Is that so nice?
It's Johannes Gutenberg. He invented movable type printing, and with it he also laid the cornerstone for an era of content-targeted advertising. That was the first and only, for some centuries, the only way of targeting that we had available. These guys started the next era. They invented search-targeted advertising, and that worked a lot better, so they made some tons of money. These are some of the players that are trying to start the next era in targeting, and that is data-driven targeting. So here is it again. For the first few centuries, we only had content targeting. Certainly that's far better than no targeting at all, but the limitations are quite clear. You put your ad in a certain magazine and you think the audiences match more or less well, but you are sure you're losing a lot of money on wastage. Search targeting worked a lot better because search quite directly describes a user intent, and so the conversions are really good, the targeting is good, it is really relevant to the user. But it still has its limitations. People spend very little time searching, for example, and it's also the case that you have industries and topics that people just aren't searching for because your products are really innovative and no one knows that they need it at all. So search has limitations, and that's why I think from today we are at the beginning of the era of data-driven targeting in online advertising. Targeting data could mean the end of wastage. The importance of this assumption can hardly be overrated. It would be quite a paradigm shift. So the key issue here is real-time bidding, a complicated topic, a term that has often been misunderstood. But it's actually not that complicated. What real-time bidding actually is about is that there are several advertisers trying to buy a specific ad impression. That means they need data to assess the value of that ad impression, targeting data, to assess the value of that ad impression to their specific campaign. It's what logically needs to happen, real-time bidding, when there are several advertisers trying to buy one single ad impression. It hasn't happened a lot in the past, that's true. That's for two reasons. We had an excess supply of traffic and a lack of targeting data. So real-time bidding really only makes sense when we have that targeting data available to justify individual pricing on each impression. But we see already where the data is coming from. We see retargeting working really well already for a few years. So there's the first source of targeting data that advertisers use their own audience, their own traffic on their sites to create an audience that they want to pay higher prices on. And there's going to be more sources in the future. We will have social networks that provide demographic data. We will have search engines that provide intent data. And we will have all kinds of other publishers providing behavioral and usage data to help us target our campaigns. And certainly also more sources of targeting data will still be discovered in the future. So what would all that mean for publishers and for advertisers in the end? I believe it means quite a significant change. This is the situation right now and also during the last years. We have so many advertisers, but most of them are not suitable for display. They have too narrow audiences that they can't find at a reasonable price in display advertising. So most of these advertisers are just in the SEM business. They're buying AdWords and throwing money at Google. I don't think it should stay that way. This is what I think will happen in a few years. And actually, the situation is this today already, because when you do retargeting, that works for every advertiser, however narrow his niche or his audiences are. So this would be quite a significant change. If you imagine thousands and thousands of additional advertisers that are currently only buying search advertising going into the display market. I think that's something really relevant for all of us that we should try to support. So that sounds like really good news, everyone, right? The problem is just that we see this. Oh, sorry. This is the technology or the technical complexity that you had in the relatively simple world of content-based targeting in display advertising. You were just sending a fax to a publisher or to an advertising network, and then you had your order placed. That was not really technology. This is the technology of today. Someone recently said on another conference, it's not an ecosystem, it's a mess. There's probably some truth about it. It really is a mess, but I think we all should not be scared of that. We should rather embrace the challenge and consider it our competitive advantage and our job to handle that complexity for our customers. So on the other side, what does all that mean for the publisher industry? What's going to happen with the publishers? Maybe this. Well, if you haven't yet completely fallen asleep, you might have realized it's the same slides as before. What I want to say with that is there are the effects that data targeting has on the publisher industry is going to be relatively complex and mixed. There's probably going to be some publishers that suffer from it, and most publishers will probably benefit, but more and less. But the most important, the big picture here, I believe, is that there's, through that situation, that so many more advertisers are going into the display market, will create so much additional money in it that altogether the publisher industry will benefit a lot through that additional money flowing into the market. But certainly there's some publishers that will benefit more than others. Here's why. Some, especially because there are some different kinds of publishers, especially some really high quality and premium publishers will be scared, and they are scared today, of data-driven targeting. Why that? Quite simply because data-driven targeting means quite a decoupling of traffic buying and the publisher. Because when you buy your ads based on cookies and audiences, you care a lot less on which sites actually your ads are running on. And that certainly is something that a big premium publisher can't really love. On the other side, there's also, I'm convinced there's also going to be publishers that benefit a lot more because they today aren't suitable for premium ad sales. They don't have the fancy looking sites. They're probably also relatively small, so they're not making any money with display advertising today. But in the future, I believe there's going to be a lot more justice for those publishers because they might have unemployed kids as audiences, most of them, and these aren't going to be valuable in the future, just as today. But maybe some segments, some parts of their audiences might be Ferrari driving, shopping addicted millionaire widows, and these are going to be really expensive, and they will generate real high CPMs, probably even higher than premium ad sales today. And that's going to be really interesting, and I'm sure that the technology that's going to be developed over the next years will help the publishers discover these audiences on their sites. They're there already, but today you just can't find them. But you will be able to find them in the future, and you will be able to monetize them. And that's going to be a lot of fun for publishers. But certainly, it's not only fun, it can be fun if they handle it, but it's also going to be a lot more complex. So the publisher business, just as the advertiser business, certainly also won't be easier. But if they embrace that challenge and get along with it and learn how to play with the new data stuff and learn how to play with the audiences, I believe they will benefit a lot from all that additional money in the market. That's it. Thank you. Have fun at Next.
you very much. Thank you, Thomas. Any questions in the room that Thomas also might answer? Any questions? First and last chance. Okay.
Ah, there's one.
Oh, a question, great. Over there? Wait, we got a micro. Good morning.
Thomas. Good morning. When do you think that change will happen, the shift will happen to this future form of display advertising?
Well, it's starting already. It's not a question of, I don't believe there's going to be a certain date where you say, now it is tomorrow, you know? It's starting already, and I think it's not going to be really quick, so it's probably going to take a few years until for example, you can measure it with the amount of real-time bidded impressions that you're or the amount of the percentage of impressions that you're selling in real time, for example. So one of the measures could be when will be 50% real-time bidding inventory sold. I believe in Germany that's probably rather going to be in 2 or 3 years, maybe even 4. So it's not next week, but it's starting now, and that's why we're all here to see the trend really early and start now and be the ones that benefit from it in 1 or 2 or 3 years.
And who will be faster, publishers or advertisers?
Generally, I believe that the higher incentive is on the advertiser side. So I see more progress on this side. Mm-hmm. But also, when publishers see and start seeing that they are going to make additional money that they wouldn't make otherwise, they're also going to be fast. Not all of them, but some.
Okay. Any more questions to Thomas? So, thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Enjoy the session.